Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome
guys.
to episode 2 of the Franchisees Reboot.
And on this episode, we're looking at the sequel to the original Paranormal Activity, Paranormal Activity 2.
That's how the podcast works.
This is the way we talk.
This is the way. Could you imagine the whole episode?
Now we go back to our regular, unsatisfied with life voices. Paranormal Activity 2.
Yeah.
Here we go. Unrated. I will be honest. I have a lot of physical media, DVDs, Blu-rays, and so on, and I do have the Paranormal Activity like DVD set that comes with a bunch of them that Walmart would sell you, right?
Wow.
But I don't know where it is. It's probably in my parents' house.
Spooky.
Spooky in there in my parents' basement.
Ooh.
So we, I'll be honest with you, I legally downloaded this movie, as I did with the first one, and the only Paranormal Activity 2 available that I found, I didn't really look very hard, was the unrated version. And as
Extra terrifying.
yeah, it was
now with even more activity.
yeah, there's 7 more minutes of activity.
Yeah.
Will it be paranormal? You'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wee-oo, the cops are coming for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked it up, and it's from so this came out in 2010, and it's from the time when DVDs were still relatively popular, and they were making, and like early Blu-rays, I guess too, and so unrated was like a marketing gimmick. So there isn't, as I was saying to Alex, full penetration or full frontal nudity or anything like that. It's merely just slightly longer. That's all it is.
Yeah, there's nothing about what we saw. Like, there are some unrated editions that, like, took a film from PG-13 to R for whatever reason. The
Sure.
MPAA's, like, rating system is stupid anyway, so
Yes.
there's that. But, like, and we're...
You hear that? The ghost of Jack Valenti?
Yeah.
We got you. I don't know who runs it now. It's some asshole.
I'm
But
going to go to the ghost dimension and kick you square
Yeah.
in the jaw.
you better watch out in however many weeks it takes for us to get to the ghost dimension.
But there are movies where it's like what's cut out, what's excised was deemed, too upsetting. Like the Hostel, which again, like I'm sure we'll get to those movies eventually.
Yeah, great.
But I'm like a big defender of at least the first two. I haven't seen the third.
Okay, interesting.
But basically, like what you have.
I think the first one's good. I've only seen the first one, and it's funny.
In Vanilla Hostel, there's nothing in it that's worse than what you would see in an episode of Game of Thrones. And like, say what you will about desensitization. There really isn't.
No, I don't know.
Rewatch it.
No, I saw it in the past few years. For the first time, I didn't see it when I was younger because I was too scared.
You're a baby.
Baby boy. I saw the Saw movie, and I thought that's enough for me.
Yeah.
But now I'm a gorehound. I love it, and so I watched it, and I think it's just like the torture element is like a little bit harder than Game of Thrones.
No,
when the woman gets her eye like it's dangling out, like
there's an episode of House of the Dragon the other week where someone has their tongue cut out.
All right,
like,
well, I don't know what that is. Okay, I don't watch current TV. All right,
no.
I didn't finish Game of Thrones. I got 4 seasons in, and then I thought, and then I predicted correctly that it was going to be bad. Okay. You see, because I have the second sight.
That's what they say about you.
Yeah, I have great taste and the second sight.
Mm-hmm. All your senses are heightened.
Yeah, I have the sixth sense, the second sight,
the powerful touch,
the powerful touch. Yes, Paranormal Activity 2. There's a baby in this one and a dog.
That's all you need to know.
And it's a prequel. And
it's both.
It's both a prequel and has a little sequel bit at the end. And the other way, other than the baby and the dog, that they up the ante for the sequel, they have multiple camera setups.
Yeah.
It's not just Micah in the first one renting one camera to film the ghost, quote unquote, but in real life film his girlfriend having sex or in various states of undress.
Which callback in this one.
Yes, they bring Micah back,
and he's just as horny.
And honestly, that's all he really does too. Is he's like, wow, great camera, and he's filming them in their bathing suits, and he's like, I got to get me one of these. it's
actually kind of what happens.
It's funny, right? It's funny. I mean, that's a conscious choice, I think, because I'm sure that was some of that Oren Pelly, who I believe produced it. Was involved in some other ways. This is directed by some other guy.
Yeah, it's like Philip Todd. It's like Todd Phillips.
It's like Todd
evil twin.
Todd Williamson. It's oh god, this is embarrassing. We should know these things. Paranorman Activity.
Type faster.
Todd Williams. I was right. It's Todd
close.
Williams. What did you say, Philip?
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips. Yeah, it was Todd. It was.
I thought it was Phillips Todd.
It was Todd. It was Todd Phillips. Right around when he was doing Due Date, or maybe the second Hangover, and he thought, you know what, comedy. He's already thinking ahead to the Joker, where he's like, I don't want to make something funny. I want to make something that is going to shock you.
Real. Something
real. And so he made Todd Phillips made Paranormal Activity 2 unrated. And then that's why the unrated cut has all of those like dick and piss and shit jokes. Yeah. And Zach Galifianakis is in it too.
When I came over to watch it, you really amped up all the full frontal ghost penetration.
I got really excited that it was unrated. Yeah.
Which in this case, maybe not in all cases, but in this case, definitely a marketing ploy.
100%. And I think one of the reasons why it was immediately apparent to us that this didn't have any transgressive extra content is because nothing happens in this movie. And I'm not trying to be too glib or like trying to dunk on this movie, because I genuinely, both Alex and I have only seen the first one, and so everything from here on we're watching for the first time, and I try not to have preconceived notions about what this is going to be like, and I try not to read ahead or anything like that. I genuinely want every movie I watch, I want it to be good. Mm-hmm. Not every movie, but movies like this, I want it to be good. I don't want it to suck. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just saying this to make fun of it. Like, I think the major problem with this movie is that, as opposed to the first movie having a constant sort of sense of tension and escalation, this movie is just kind of flatlining. It's one note over and over and over again.
Well, it's like classic sequelitis, coronary sequelitis. It's bigger is not always better.
No.
So they have multiple
it
camera
says
angles.
Here in the notes, it's bigger, it's better.
Okay, well then clearly I'm wrong.
No, you're right. It's not.
No, but it's like the conceit. It starts like he's just filming because they moved into a new house, I guess, and then there's a break-in, and nothing's actually stolen except for something that belonged to the main character mom's sister, which is Katie from the first film. So it's Katie's sister and her family. And so they set up security cameras all around the house. So you've got like tons of angles. But then that just opens it up to more criticism, because there are moments where like something really spooky would be happening on this angle, but then they don't show you it. But they keep up that stupid thing where it's like, thank you to the families of the Ray and the Micah Sloat families and the police department and stuff. And it's like, so did someone from the police department edit this? Because like it's truly terrible editing then, because they're literally not using the best angles for the spooky stuff. They're not showing you it. They're like leaving things in later as surprises. But then what's really annoying, it's not just the security camera footage, but the whole family's like constantly filming each other. Like the dad kind of does the thing that Micah does in the first one, where he's like, I don't believe this gibberish.
Yeah.
And he makes fun of his wife for kind of believing in it. She gets pissed, and he goes to apologize to her, and he's just like filming like his apologies, filming like an argument between him and his wife. And it's like, a couple days ago, I rewatched The Blair Witch Project, which I firmly believe it loses its impact after a few watches for sure, but I do believe it's
Well,
the high watermark of the found footage horror genre.
absolutely.
And what I love about it is that there's a reason for them to always be filming, because they're film students, and at one point they're like, why are you still filming this? And she like breaks down and she's like, this is all I have. Like, their mental state is deteriorating, but it still makes sense for them to be filming. And whereas this, what I realized while watching it, fatal flaw in a found footage horror film, if you're sitting there being like, why are you filming this?
You don't have to yell at me. I'm right here.
Sorry. It was for dramatic effect. But if you're shouting that at the TV while you're watching a found footage horror film, or in the theater.
Yeah. Don't shout in the theater, people. Don't talk in the theater. Unless you're at this type of movie, in which case it is okay. It's sorry, it is. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I don't want to sound like an elitist, a coastal elite, which we are, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. Like the Blair Witch Project. Okay, so I was kind of bugging you a little bit because you were like, why are they filming right now? And I agree with you. It's frustrating, but like, and this is the problem with a lot of found footage movies. They abandon the rules of the found footage almost immediately, and this happens a lot. It doesn't happen in Blair Witch, and Blair Witch is like a masterpiece. It's very scary, and it's like incredibly intense throughout, even before anything scary happens. It's just a really well made movie, and like a great script or whatever, improv session or whatever.
It's actually not that bad in Paranormal Activity 1.
No,
there are a few moments where you're like, Micah, put the fucking camera down and stop trying to get in her pants.
Yeah. Paranormal Activity 1, I think, is a good movie. I liked it. At the time, I don't know, I thought probably whatever. It's disposable entertainment, but like seeing it again, I think it's genuinely well made. And like we were saying in the last episode, the main shot that we get to study over and over and over again, the main camera setup where they're filming themselves sleeping, and you have the door open in the scary dark hallway, and them in their bed, and the time stamp that moves, and it's just kind of perfect, right? And you see that again and again, and you learn to it teaches you where to look and like what to expect, and then subverts it, and you really feel like you're watching like somebody who's made a lot of conscious choices and correct choices, like as a filmmaker. And then in this one, to up the ante, you have now, instead of this one kind of setup and then all the other stuff happening during the daytime, you have like 6 or 7 setups, and unfortunately, instead of it being 6 or 7 times more interesting, or 6 and 7 times more things to look at, like nothing really happens in them, and it cycles through them, and it doesn't really make you anxious or build up any tension, because you're looking the first couple of times, but then by the like 5th or 6th night or something, you're like, well, nothing happened, and nothing is really changing or escalating, and nothing's really going on. So you just kind of get bored, with the exception of the one shot, which I think is pretty well done, that they use quite a lot with the baby's room, because you have the dog, you have the baby in the crib, and then you have a mirror, which is kind of interesting instead of the hallway, because mirrors are scary.
Oh, the mirror world.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna talk about mirrors one day with Kiefer Sutherland. He spoilers, everybody, if you haven't seen Mirrors. He ends up in the mirror dimension.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's like, get me out of here.
I'm in the fucking mirror dimension.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny ending, because he's like walking around in the mirror dimension, like he can see everybody, but they can't see him, and he's going up to people like, I'm not in the mirror dimension, am I? And they don't answer, because he is in the mirror dimension.
That's actually very horrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Also, spoilers for the whole episode. Really, I guess the idea of the show would be you watch along with us, like a book club, but of film franchises, and then we'll talk about it. So
Yeah.
try to keep up. For the next episode, watch Paranormal Activity 3. Play
Yeah.
along. It's fun.
Play along. Do your homework. There's a stamp card you can get in the mail.
And if you get 10 stamps, you get a free.
A free, not nude, but a free kind of erotic boudoir photograph of Alex or I.
Yeah, you get to choose.
You get to choose, and we won't be offended if one of us gets more requests than the other.
Relieved, even.
Yeah, relieved maybe. I don't know. Listen, we're gonna cross that bridge when we come to it. We have to release some episodes and build a listenership first, I guess.
Before the nudes.
Before the nudes. The boudoir. Not nudes. Tasteful. Yeah, tasteful. Nudes you have to pay for. Let's see here. What we watched this last night instead of right before recording. So I wrote some notes, but my notes are like there's a couple of notes from Alex, and they're very well written, and mine are like incredibly difficult to read. But yeah, I think there's a couple of funny things about this family.
Yeah, you know what I want to talk about.
Yeah, lay it on me. I know exactly what you want to talk about, and I think that it's important.
Maybe it's a sign of the times that this film was made before films like Coco kind of liberated Mexican spirituality.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the dad. I thought you were talking about the dad. Okay, go ahead. Coco liberated what?
Mexican spirituality.
You idiot.
How before Coco broached the topic in a tasteful way.
What are you talking about?
I'll explain exactly what you know exactly.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're talking about. What are you like? Okay, go ahead. Oh my God.
They have a housekeeper.
Yes.
Martine. Ostensibly, this takes place in Southern California. She is Mexican.
Yes.
Very early on in the film, she is seen doing like a Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, like a cross, and she's like sensing like evil spirits in the house. And
yes, they catch her, I guess, on camera, on one of the security cameras that they put in after the break-in. They catch her crossing herself and maybe doing some other types of like sort of spiritual gestures in like a corner of the house.
Yeah. And when she once this real spooky stuff starts happening, the parents are away on a date and she's kind of babysitting, and something really scary happens, so she grabs the baby and lights some sage and tries to ward off evil spirits, and they come home and they're like, "What are you doing lighting sage holding our baby? You're fired."
Yeah,
and
they fire her.
But later on in the movie, when they realize something really strange and supernatural is going on, they actually invite her back. Like, what the fuck's she gonna do? She's like the person in the first movie who comes and goes, I can't stay here.
Yeah, but even that person was like a professional.
No, this is someone who is literally their like maid, and the movie depicts her as almost like a shaman or something because she's Mexican.
Well, yeah, because she she's depicted as being religious, being Catholic, and being in touch with spirits, the spirit worlds, and believing in the spirit world in a way that these like
as all elderly Mexican women are.
Yeah, exactly. It's very stereotypical, and
it's really stupid.
It's really stupid, yeah. Because when they bring her back,
it really pissed me off.
Well, they bring her back and she doesn't really have much to help them with, because like she's just like a religious person. She's not like an exorcist.
Yeah.
She's not a paranormal expert. So they bring her back, which is kind of like, oh, you were right. We're sorry. We're sorry for firing you, which of course they should not have done. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're smudging and you're smudging around the baby, maybe parents don't want. I don't know. I don't have kids, but yeah, they bring her back. They bring her back like at the when things are
Close to
really
the end.
really
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
wall, instead of like calling the cops or like you know what
Yeah.
I mean. It's
They're
funny.
reaching out to a paranormal investigator. They go straight back to Martine.
Yeah, it's a white guilt thing. They're like they
yeah.
feel bad for firing their religious Mexican maid.
Oh my god, that was so frustrating.
Yeah, there's a lot of like I guess this family sort of in keeping with Katie and Micah in the first movie
Very affluent.
who are affluent, and that one was pre-housing crisis, and this is just after, but it's set in 2006 still, right?
It's set like 60 days before the death of
It's-
Mika Sloat. It
Yes,
tells you that.
yes, Mika shows up for like a barbecue, and as soon as he walks on the screen, like a title superimposition comes up and says 60 days before the death of Mika Sloat.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, remember this guy? Remember how he gets killed?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, and then he's like talking about filming his
Technically, his like.
I guess his niece.
niece-in-law?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
They
so
give him a camera and he's just filming his niece in the pool and like zooming in on her bikini.
yeah, a little bit. He is doing that a little bit. You have the dad who's like a very suburban dad, like rectangle glasses and goatee kind of dad, and then you have the mom who I guess is a little underdeveloped. Maybe is just kind of like
The whole family's underdeveloped.
the
That's
whole
the
movie
problem.
is the whole movie is like whatever. We were joking like it should be called Normal Activity, right?
Yeah.
Because you're cycling through.
It cycles so quickly.
It cycles
too.
very quickly. Day, night, day, night, day,
Like
night.
one scene of day, one scene of night, one scene of day, one scene of night.
Yeah,
Like,
and the day is them being like, "Are there ghosts?" And then the night happens, and it's like, "Well, no, not really." Right? There's a creaky door here, and a this and that, but really, no, there aren't really for until the last 15 minutes. It is not. They have a Ouija board. They have a scene. So yeah, it's mom and dad and baby and dog and then teenage daughter. And the teenage daughter is like, you know, she's like a cool teenager because
she's really cool.
she's got the Misfits poster and 2 Ramones posters in her room.
When one won't do.
Yeah.
And a poster of Kurt Cobain on an angle.
Whoa. I forgot it was Kurt. Yeah, of course. All the posters are a little askew because you know she's kind of like
she herself is.
She's like Adbusters, like you know.
But her room's also like hot pink.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just really don't believe like when you see the character the way she talks and stuff like that she's a big like Glenn Danzig fan.
It doesn't make it doesn't make sense. It's very funny like production design sort of thing I guess where they're just like teenager.
What are teens into in 2006?
Yeah.
The
And,
Ramones and Misfits.
The other one that is a better production design thing is that the family has a lot of like Pier 1 imports sort of stuff, like a lot of
African art.
Yeah, very kind of nondescript, like a vaguely African art and masks and things like that are hanging around, and other like rich white people things. They have a pool in their backyard, and one of the kind of early scares. Question mark, right?
Question mark.
Is that the pool cleaner, the remote, not a person, the robot pool cleaner that like moves around in the pool at night to pick up all of the fecal particles and things like that. They catch it on the camera like rising up out of the pool.
Ooh.
and like going onto the deck or whatever, and I'll tell you, it's
an affair
not
with the
scary.
wife.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
The
scary.
the pool, the pool cleaner,
Robot.
the possessed pool cleaner robot. It's not scary, and it's I guess it's like a bit of a misdirect because later they find out it's just on the fritz or something, right?
No, but
No?
the being on the fritz was different. It caused it to kind of like shoot out of the pool, whereas
Right.
this was like gently lifted up,
Yeah.
similar to
Anyway.
how the baby's lifted up in the crib.
Well, yeah. So there's a couple of scenes that are kind of
That you found effective
effective.
with an asterisk.
Yeah, effective with the asterisk that like I was bored. I was enjoying watching it with you because it's fun. We're having fun.
We're having so
But
much fun.
we're having so much fun. But and you can tell, right? You can tell. the listener. You can tell.
They're in on it.
You're in on it. We're all having fun. We're all friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get too familiar, but we're all friends. Yeah. So effective because nothing else happens, and it takes a really long time to get anywhere. Like in the original movie, like things are starting to kind of be a little weird pretty much immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, you go through a lot of shots of nothing happening before you get like the baby in the crib being lifted up and dragged around, which is, I thought, kind of scary.
At first, the baby's just kind of sliding in its crib, like being pulled, but then it starts being like lifted out along the side of the crib, and it's almost like the baby on the ceiling in Train Spotting. Like it just looks kind of goofy to me.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing is that, like you were saying, like there'll be a couple of moments like that where something happens, but then they'll cut away to another angle, so you don't see something, and it doesn't really work because it's not like when you cut away from something to kind of shock you or to divert your attention to something and then bring you back to something else, or to show you a different angle from something. It just kind of diffuses the moment, like. Right?
There's some confusing cuts in here where you're just like, why? Like it's like the person who's presenting you this footage is purposely trying to like ruin your orgasm. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
is purposely trying to blue ball you, cinematically horror film blue ball.
Sure, if you want to be crass about it.
My middle name. But yeah, no, I didn't find. You know what is fun though is trying to spot when it's a baby child actor and when it's the hired stunt ape.
Yeah. So we looked in the IMDb trivia section, which is always a good place to look after you've watched a film. And yeah, apparently there's certain rules about using child actors and what they can and cannot do, like baby actors, right, or toddlers, right?
Yeah, infants,
yeah, and
but you are allowed.
You are allowed to dress up a small ape, a chimp, or some other type of small ape, or a large monkey, I guess, and put it in the same clothes as the infant and have a wig on it and so on, and have that walk around, or be pulled or whatever. So yeah, you can see, and then there's also a robot baby they used in this movie, which is crazy, like a really complicated kind of like a better than the Tesla bot robot baby. It's really impressive, yeah, it's
just kind of fun to be like real baby, ape baby, Boston Dynamics baby.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's
a drinking game you could play.
It's a drinking game, yeah, you could definitely play it. And I don't know. I don't think this is a good movie. I just what were we saying here? Oh yeah, like what if the ghost or demon or whatever is in the teenager's room and the lights go off and then they go back on and all of her posters that were askew are now straight. Oh, ooh.
Well, that's like part of the problem is like the first one kind of took its time, like you said, like, you know, small things happened, it like gradually escalates. They can't really like pull the same tricks out for this one, so I guess they're trying to think of new things to do, but it's like not very it's either like not very effective or then kind of like silly. Like there's a scene where the mom's sitting in the kitchen and then legitimately one of the most jolting moments was like all the cupboards and like drawers pop out at once.
Yes.
And we were talking because of the way it's filmed too. It almost feels like Bam Margera's about to come out and be like, fuck you, Mom. Like, we
owned.
Got you. It's jolting, but it's not like really scary.
No. And then she starts to put things away, and I thought, like, okay, she'll put everything away, and then it will happen again.
That'd be too fun.
It would be too fun. It would be cheeky, like the demon is like, you know, have like a little stinker. But no, it she's putting it away, and then it cuts to some to like paint drying or
angle.
something.
Yeah,
There are a couple times where something interesting is happening,
and they cut away.
They will cut away, but not for a discernible reason.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just cut away to something else.
Wow.
And something that is actually kind of interesting is like there is a bit of they do use ellipsis, especially at the beginning where they're filming things, and then like a relatively long period of time will pass because there wasn't anything for them to film, which is kind of interesting, right? And there's a couple of things like the actual ending of the movie where like the mom is possessed and dragged down to the basement, and the dad has to go and find her or whatever.
That was a mess.
That was
a fucking mess of a
they
scene.
use kind of a little bit of a like, I guess like ellipsis where it's like you don't really. I thought he lost the battle and was possessed himself, but it turns out like no, he just put her to bed and everything was fine.
So same but different. The matriarch of the family gets a demon bite. Ooh, we've got a really bitey demon on our hands.
Yeah, it's I like that it bites actually. It's kind of fun.
It just would be funnier if the movie was called Demon Bite.
Demon Biter. Demon Biter is a really good title for a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not joking either. That'd be good.
Anyway, so she gets bit.
Demon Biter. Sorry, I just thinking about it.
Starring Christian Slater.
Sure. Oh my God. I mean, you think he's interested?
So she gets bit, similar to Katie in the first movie. Starts getting a bit possessive, but not in that way.
Yes. She's possessed by the demon, which
bites.
By the demon biter. Yeah.
He who bites.
He who bites. We're gonna learn there's gonna be some lore coming up, surely, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, the demon's name is like it's like the Pazuzu. Yeah.
There's already lore.
I guess they're really trying to make the lore happen in this.
She gets bit and she starts acting creepy, and one night, like all the lights go out, she starts like attacking her family and stuff. She goes down to the basement. The dad goes downstairs. He's using his night vision camera to see. The scene where he gets the night vision camera is very funny because his daughter is literally just painting her fingernails, and he's in her room being like, hey, check this out, and turning the lights on and off and being like, I see you, like night vision. And I'm like, I don't know, at least make it interesting. Like he turns off the lights and then pretends to be Buffalo Bill or something like that. He's like, oh, look, I'm Buffalo Bill.
Hey, remember that?
Instead, he's just pissing her off, and it's another case of like, why are you filming this? But he goes down in the basement, and like, you know, found footage horror films, sometimes like quick stuff happens and you're kind of disoriented and it's scary because it's found footage. But like, I guess he uses a crucifix to like expel the demon from her, but like, you can't tell.
It's a cross.
Yeah.
It's very important that we establish the difference between the two. That the cross does not have the little Jesus on it.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's going to come up in PA3.
Yeah.
You'll see.
But he somehow excises her, and then we see a scene of him burning an image of Katie, so his wife's sister from the first movie, which you kind of find out in a bit of exposition. In another case of like, why are they filming this, of the daughter and her boyfriend just like randomly happening on the like exact occult history that pertains to like, what's happening to them.
They're doing a bit of research. They're doing the Ouija. They're doing some research.
Sure,
it's what kids do that like on dates in suburbia.
Look, I know,
I know you know.
But she's, and I think one of the worst things a movie can do in a series is undermine another movie in the series through its own choices.
Yes.
And him burning the photo of Katie, because that's the photo that Micah finds in the weird attic crawl space in the first movie. And it's still mysterious, like, how did it get there? But, like, the origin, it was cooler in the first movie when you watch that and you're like, oh, whoa, like, that must have been where, like, when their house burned down when they were kids or something like that, and all of a sudden this demon's been obsessed with her. It's been carrying this photo around for forever.
Yes.
But you find out it's like a hex that the fucking husband, this dopey ass husband who looks like KBD Productions TV, he's a Canadian fast food reviewer on YouTube. He drives around to drive-thrus and he reviews fast food items. He's like a total tech dad, you know, with his cameras and his drones and shit.
Yes.
Watch his videos and then watch this movie. You'll be like, holy shit, it makes it so much funnier. But it's like it completely undermines that scare in Paranormal Activity 1. And that is like a cardinal fucking sin.
Yes, I think in an effort to tie the movies together,
to create lore,
or whatever, that moment in the first Paranormal Activity when they go up to the creepy attic and nothing is there except for this singed photo of Katie as a child. It's really scary. It's the perfect example of like a truly eerie scare of like finding something that should not and could not belong in this place and yet is there. Yeah. Right? It's totally frightening, and it's like the beginning of the end really for them, right? Where it's like it's complete and it's unexplainable. It's like yeah, and then to very literally kind of like explain it, to have him watching him singe it, I don't know, it takes a lot of the fun out of it.
It was kind of like very disheartening to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's like they completely didn't realize like what parts of the first movie worked. You know, it was like a show of ignorance.
I don't know. I do know that looking forward, the third movie is supposed to be perhaps more formally interesting, and also the third, and I think at least the third and fourth are directed by, the same two people, like a directing pair that worked on both of those. So
a bit more consistency, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. But I haven't heard anything about 4. So maybe Paranormal Activity 3 will be better than this. I hope so.
That'd be easy to do.
Yeah, it's not.
This is not good. And the daughter who's been filming everything the whole time. At the end, spoiler, Katie shows up and kills this family. That kills the mom and the father, the fast food reviewer, and steals their baby, whose name is Hunter, but now he's the hunted.
Yes.
And then they just have a title that's like, the daughter came back after like 14 days away and saw her parents dead, and was like...
Yeah, right. The daughter was away on a school trip or whatever, and she came back and her parents were killed. So I guess it does make sense, because after a while I was thinking, well, if this is a prequel, like, and all this crazy shit is happening, how come they didn't tell Katie and Micah what was going on? And then you do see like it explains that, I guess, that he passes the curse on to her or whatever, and yeah. Anyway, the night, I think it's the night that is the end of the first movie, where she kills Micah and is fully possessed and covered in blood in her jammies and whatever. She walks over to, or ghosts over to their house. Yeah, and snaps the dad's neck. Yeah. He's sitting on the couch.
And then he just like punches her in the gut, and she like flies up to she punches her sister like in the gut, and she flies up to the camera.
Yeah, kind of like the effect of Micah flying at the camera in the first one at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ghost punches her kind of into the ghost dimension. And yeah, and steals the baby.
Can we quickly talk about how all the guys in these movies are like horn dogs?
Well, yes, we have to be quick about it, though.
The boyfriend, the teen girl's boyfriend, they're doing a Ouija board seance.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, "What do you want?" And he spells out pussy.
Yeah. And then they do, yeah, they laugh.
And he also makes the comment being like, "Hey, we should shoot a porn or something."
Yeah, right? That's what it's all about. It's almost like these like consumer grade cameras were only used to make porn, and so they have to kind of address it at every turn, to be like, well, you know, like we know, like we should make porn with this, but we're not going to. We're filming the scary stuff here. Yeah. You know? His name is Brad, by the way, right?
Yeah,
but he's like
he's not a Chad Brad.
He's not the Chad Brad. Yeah.
He's a Bradley.
He's Bradley. Yeah. He's got like the hockey hair thing, and like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hockey hair. That's too
California.
It's a Canadian thing. They're in California. He has a like a bad haircut.
Yeah, those cameras were used exclusively to film amateur
Well,
pornography.
I mean, they're used for all sorts of things, but it's almost like they have to. It's almost like they
types of amateur pornography.
Yeah, all sorts of different things. We're gonna have to unfortunately wrap it up right now because but we're wrapping it up for a very exciting reason.
Yeah, you guys wait for what we have in store for you.
Well, I mean, we can mention where we're going, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we should mention it. All right. So, we don't have a schedule for this. We're just going to be doing Paranormal Activity movies until we fucking blow our brains out. But if we don't do that, we're going to move on to other franchises, and eventually, who knows, someday down the line, maybe we'll get to we'll enter a different dimension, the View Askew universe.
New Jersey.
Yeah. New Jersey. Thank God New Jersey doesn't exist in real life, right? And the films of Kevin Smith. Tonight, we're going
full circle, baby.
We're going to the Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Toronto to see not only the new Clerks film, Clerks 3, Clerks Roman numeral 3. We are seeing it as part of an event where Kevin Smith is going to be there and in his jorts. And he's going to
like those old videos he would release.
He's going to do a Q&A,
thing,
an evening with Kevin Smith.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And then an evening with Kevin Smith too, Evening Harder. I remember that.
I remember renting both of them.
Oh hell! Oh yeah, of course.
You're gonna have an evening with the franchisees.
Yeah, great.
See you next time. Watch Paranormal 3 before the next episode.
Yeah, and also along. I just want to say, Paranormal Activity, the first one. Scary movie.
You're an apologist.
It's good. It's a good movie.
You're called paranormal activist.
Yeah, I'm a paranormal activist. Not anymore, because Paranormal Activity 2, not particularly scary. And I guarantee you that seeing Kevin Smith tonight, smoke weed with his friends and try to make some jokes and then come out at the end and be all gushy with us. I guarantee you that's going to be more frightening than Paranormal Activity 2.
I don't doubt it.
I guarantee it.